Thank you. Further proponents?
Thank you, Chairman Bennett and members of the committee for making time to consider this bill. I'll be respectfully brief. My name is Zalzastrow, C-A-L-Z-A-S-T-R-O-W. My family and I are Christian missionaries to China and around the U.S. I first moved to Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch to begin ministry there in 1982. We've lived off and on in Montana since then, but mostly off. I still retain my registration and I vote in Yellowstone County. Last Friday, you heard the testimonies of people for and against the death penalty. You are now thoughtfully considering your duty to protect every innocent person. Some of you cried Friday because the beating hearts and the measurable brain waves of confessed convicted murderers were stopped. You nodded in agreement. You sympathized with families who are so hurting because one of their loved ones is on death row, awaiting possible fatal punishment by the state of Montana. Even religious people came in support proposed legislation to stop the state-sanctioned killing of prisoners who have raped and tortured children to death. Because even those prisoners are persons, human beings, made in the image of God. We all heard the quotes. Let's promote the culture of life. More violence is not the answer. An execution cannot be reversed. Condemnation was heaped upon the state of Montana and our violent culture for over an hour because 15 murderers have been put to death by the state of Montana over decades. There was but one point that the liberals and conservatives, those seeking justice and those seeking mercy, agreed upon. One point. No innocent person should ever be condemned and killed. Every year in Montana, over 2,000 persons with beating hearts, measurable brainwaves, fingers and toes are brutally killed by surgery with the sanction of the state. Are they criminals? How guilty are they? No, they're innocent. They're preborn children, just as human as you and I. You just heard Dr. Bukacek's testimony of how we are all fully human, fully alive at the moment of conception. How tall you'd be, eye color, personality type. It's all there at conception for all of us. If you really want to stop the violence, if you really want the blessings of the Lord God of peace upon us, then recognize the personhood of every human being, especially children. It's the culture's job to protect children by love. It's your job to protect them by law. Will we call out for more blessings from God? The blood of the slaughtered children cries out for justice. American courts have unjustly opined in history that tribal people and then blacks, they were living, but they weren't protected by the law because they weren't classified as persons. I mean, even at the start, our forefathers, they considered black men to only be 3/5 of white men, and that not for their legal protection, but just for the census. Nobody's reproductive rights should include killing the children that have been reproduced. Let us be the first state in America to recognize and protect mothers and children together. Please vote yes on 425, recognizing the personhood of all Montanans. With the chairman's permission, I'll present written copies of my testimony to the committee.
Please do. Just hand it to Representative Zalzastrow.